Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Fellowship of Fandoms podcast. I am your friendly neighborhood host, Strider, and here with me I have two or three absolutely wonderful gentlemen. Aidan, good evening and welcome. Thank you for being here. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here and talk about a whole slew of topics tonight.
Yeah. And also we have Chiv and our little buddy here called Pippin. Good evening to both of you.
Thank you so much. We're doing fine over here. He's being a little rambunctious right now, but happy to happy to talk all things nerdy.
Awesome. And talk all things nerdy we shall, because um, this episode is basically going to be a great example of how or what we want to do with this little nerdy group of buddies we have here. We're going to talk about like 6 or 7 different topics, which is maybe going to be kind of a first
A
one.
lot.
But we kind of did in the past before, but like we'll just try to make this into a coherent mess, not just a completely chaotic mess. So I think we can, like one of the things that just finished was the DC show Peacemaker. Peacemaker is a part of the new DC universe that James Gunn is building. So in the case anybody listening to this hasn't clocked it yet, this is actually a pretty low key, a pretty important part, like a pretty important puzzle in building the new DC universe. First season premiered a couple years ago, and then Peacemaker season 2 just finished like 2 days ago or something. And it basically is happening right after the Superman movie that came out, I don't know, like 2 months ago at this point, which is insane that it's already 2 months, but yeah, anyway. So it's a show that is kind of low-key setting up some things that will be coming up in the next DCU movies. So with that said, we will not dwell too much on most of the topics, but let's just quickly go over our experience so far with the Peacemaker. Aidan, where are you at with what's your story with the Peacemaker?
I've really enjoyed it so far. The first season and the second season are both good. I did admit just before we started, I haven't actually seen the finale yet. I've heard mixed things about it. It's hard when I was out of town, and it's hard when you miss something like this because social media is going to have stuff about it all over the place. So I've seen and heard a few things about kind of the general structure of the final episode, but I think overall it's a really good show. I think season 1 is unequivocally better than season 2, at least so far. Again, I haven't finished it, but I I like where it's going. I like that it's more character driven. Season 2 kind of just felt like it was all over the place for me. I kept thinking it was building towards one thing and then it would veer off towards something else, and um it does just feel kind of like a little bit of a random hodgepodge show. That being said, it's very well written, it's very funny, it's very well acted. John Cena is an incredibly underrated actor. He knocks it out of the park in this role. I think he does such a tremendous job. But I've really enjoyed it. My wife and I have been watching it. We both have really liked it. But I do have a few critiques on it. I mean, I wish they explored more of some of the threads they set up. There are characters I would have liked to have seen more of. Vigilante's the clear standout for me. I think that he's the most fun character, and he felt
genius.
yeah, and he just felt pretty underutilized this season, which I think was a real shame.
I think that's well said. I think I'm in a very similar boat as you. I actually watched season 1 just before I went to watch Superman. I didn't care about it. I was like, why are we watching a show about this random dude from this random team? Like, what's going on here? However, it turns out it was actually a very good season 1. John Cena, I agree. I mean, very under. Like he was complete. He was a very big surprise.
Yeah.
In a way, even though I mean, already heard good stuff about it, but yeah. So I'll just go real quick about season 2, and then I'll toss it back to Shiv. So season 2, I agree as well. It was good, but like kind of all over the place. It felt like a mid. you know how sometimes in trilogies the
Mhm.
middle movie, the middle part can kind of be like neither here nor there. It's like a bridge to between the first and the second one, between the first and the third part. So this it felt kind of like this. It was setting up things, but I don't know. I think so. I have seen the 8th episode, and I'll just say it. Um, episode 7 felt more like the actual finale of the season, and then episode 8 felt more like an kind of like an epilogue, or like you know, like the teaser at the end of the episode of like what's happening, kind of like the lead in into the next one. So I think maybe view episode 8 as such, and then maybe your expectations will be appropriately set up. But yeah, Shiv, what's your did you watch it?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I haven't watched this one yet, but I have a little experience seeing like the Suicide Squad, John Cena's character there. I love John Cena's comedic chops, like when he was in Trainwreck, his cameo or role in that was hilarious. So I'll definitely get around to it, and I want to have it completely watched before like the next Superman or next DC movie comes out. So it sounds like, based on your guys' review, have high hopes for season 1, and then for season 2, lower your expectations a bit, but still enjoy it. So
Yeah, they're both still really good.
okay, yeah, well, I'll give it a watch soon, hopefully.
Just before we actually jump to the next one, I'll just give a quick shout out also to Creature Commandos, which is an animated show that's set just up. I mean, I don't know. It's set in the universe. I'm not sure where it fits in the timeline. I guess maybe somewhere between Peacemaker season 1 and Peacemaker season 2. One of the main characters is Rick Flag, who's the guy in charge. Like, he's the father of Rick Flag Jr., the John Cena's character killed in the Suicide Squad, and he's in season 2. He's playing one of the major roles in season 2. He's this guy in the middle. Actually, that cartoon was terrific. It was like in true James Gunn fashion, a bunch of random characters, and in like 20-30 minute episodes, like 30-minute episodes maybe, he manages to build all of them up so much, and you like just feeling really bad for this insane bunch of people. Like, it's just classic James Gunn, and it's really good. It was awesome. I think I enjoyed it even more than Peacemaker.
I still need to watch it. I can't believe I haven't seen it up until now, but I've heard really, really good things about it.
It's good stuff. I definitely I would also I maybe even rather recommend this. I feel like it's just more fun, but I don't know. I mean, Peacemaker is great, and I just gotta say, John Cena, like, comedic timing. Obviously, he's built his whole wrestling career on this, not just on this, but on many other things. But like, the comedic timing is definitely there. But he's acting in some of the scenes in season 2, because there's some serious stuff that happens. Man, that was insanely impressive. Like,
he does a great job.
Amazing. Like, really good stuff. All right, so that was a shout out to the DC universe. Let's see what we are talking about next. Let me see. Okay, we can just maybe real quick jump over to the Harry Potter universe. Just real quick, there were a couple of leaked set photos. I mean, before we go into actually talking about this, and I think it's just going to be some quick commenting. We're not even sure if we're going to actually talk about the show when it comes out, because there's obviously a huge question mark about it for a very good reason. So that aside, just real quick comments. I think if whoever ends up watching the show, it will obviously be retreading things that movies have already covered 80 to 90%. But I think what the real gift of the show will be, story-wise, the fact that we'll get to see some of the characters that we never would have seen otherwise, which is, for example, this guy here, Nicolas Flamel. He is the guy who basically actually made the Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone, depending on which country you're in. And there were some photos that were leaked, were photos of him and his wife and Dumbledore, played by John Lithgow here. So yeah, just real quick comment on this. Like, what do you guys think of the photos?
Wow, John Lithgow looks really good.
I mean, this is we haven't seen all of the costumes yet, but this is the first one where we get a look where it does seem like they're kind of leaning into more of the fantastical side of Harry Potter, which the movies did too. They kind of like slowly lean away from it as it goes onward. So it'll be, I don't know. I don't have a lot to say. I really struggle with the concept of this series as a whole. Let's just get the, you know, personal and ethical qualms out of the side right off the bat. Like, regardless of how you feel about the show, its creation, what the money being made from the show is ultimately going to go on to support. If you just look at it from even just a pure like story perspective, like if you take out all of the bad things that are attached to it, I just really struggle getting excited for a story that isn't even 10 years old yet. Like, it's just the big thing that makes it hard for me. Like, again, yeah, even if there wasn't like a major moral quandary over supporting and talking about this show, it just feels like I'm just still baffled by why we're getting it, because within the Harry Potter universe, I think that they're honestly like of all like the major like movie universes, I feel like, or like book universes, like pop culture, I feel like Harry Potter would be the easiest slam dunk in the world to like just make a different show, make a series about Harry Potter's parents when they were young, or make a series about just a completely new set of characters. Like, it's the easiest thing in the world to just be like, all right, here's a new series. Here's 4 random students, and they're all going to Hogwarts, and they're all original characters. I feel like if you write it well enough, people will still eat it up. But they just, I don't know why we're redoing the same story twice. It just bamboozles me.
Well, maybe they'll do both. They'll do this and then get a bunch of spin-offs.
They might
mean-
actually. Actually, that might very well happen. That's a good point. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm gonna watch it for obvious reasons, but also like there's this whole concept of we've kind of seen it, but also like there will be stuff that we haven't seen before. Like there will be, as the books go on, they get progressively larger and larger and larger. There's so many things cut out. Like part 4, part 5, what was it? Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix. There's a lot of stuff that gets cut and so on. So I don't know, like there's room there for some good stuff and to see, what some other people do. I don't know. It's a whole thing. We'll see. Yeah, good luck with the whole thing. I think it's going to be, internet is going to be a very interesting place in the next 10 years for many reasons, one of which is going to be this show. But yeah, with that said, let's go to something else. The Invincible. So this is an Amazon Prime Video animated show that's been going on actually for quite a while now. Season 4 just dropped a teaser trailer in a similar fashion they've been doing it in the last couple of years. Yeah, I'm not actually sure when is it coming out. I don't think it
in
even
March,
said. I think
2026.
It's in March. Okay,
Which
it
is
really didn't say in the video itself. I think, which is like, what's the point? Just write it down somewhere. Why do I need to Google it then? But yeah. So what's your backstory with this?
So, sorry, me or Chiv?
I guess we can go to Chiv this time.
We can, I guess, start with me. But my backstory is a little bit smaller. I'm pretty sure I watched season 1 and kind of fell off. No particular reason. It wasn't like I wasn't interested. It's just probably other shows kind of took the spotlight for me, and I just never went back. So I remember enjoying the first season. Yeah. But what year was that when season 1 came out?
I think 21 or early 22.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me, usually it takes me a while to start watching. I usually start watching when it's like already midway through because it's so gory. It's such a, it's not a light show. It's kind of like The Boys. I mean, obviously it's a bit easier because it's animated, and it's more fantastical. So it's more insane, but also like the level of how hard it hits you, it's a bit further away than The Boys, which is just an insane show. But it usually takes me like a while to prepare myself mentally because I know I'm going to watch an insane amount of blood and gore on screen. But of course, the show isn't just this. It actually does have a really cool story, voice acting, animation. It is actually really cool. So I'll definitely be tuning in for season 4. But yeah, Aidan, let's go to you. What's your...
I was going to say, it looks really good. One of the things I think is really cool is they're getting a lot faster on their turnaround times. I know that the break between season 1 and season 2 was brutal, but now it seems like they're
Oh, it
getting a new
was.
season out every single year, which I know some people have criticized the animation quality drop off uh, with the fast turnaround time, but I think that's a whole
I
other
would
can of
rather have
worms.
that. I think that's a good. But still, I think it's like for most people, it's like I will rather take the less, like 90% of the quality or like 80% of
Mhm.
the visual quality for like actually getting the TV show 1 year earlier, please.
Yeah.
I think that's probably like an overall attitude. So I think, yeah, I think that works still.
Yeah, I mean, I think with this series, I think the first season is probably still my favorite just because they set up a hook in the first episode and then each episode after that slowly builds up to this reveal and it feels like a very cohesive arc even though there's like little stories that intersperse along. I feel like they did a really good job of having a setup in the beginning and a payoff in the end. I'm not sure seasons 2 and 3 really had that. Seasons 2 and 3 felt more like traditional comic books, which I mean, this show
Mm,
is based off a comic book run, so it makes sense. But it was very much like this thing is happening, now this thing is happening, and now this thing is happening. There's not a whole lot of like cohesive
that's a
like
good point.
there are plot points that carry on from season 1 to season 3, from season 2 to season 3, and there's stories that get concluded, but like whereas the first season it's like if you had to ask me like what the general premise of the first season is, it's the conflict between Mark getting his powers and his dad teaching him how to use his powers. That is where the series starts and that's where the season concludes. Season 2 you could say, oh, it's Angstrom Levy, the multiverse guy, but he leaves after episode 1 and doesn't come back until the finale. And there's not really a lot of like build up to him throughout the season. It's just kind of like they do have the bookend stuff. Season 3 has even less of the bookend stuff because they have this big thing. And then immediately after it ends, another big thing, which happens in the comics. So the pacing has been getting a little tricky for me to follow, but it's no less enjoyable. I think that the characters are written extremely well. The voice acting is immaculate. I mean, they've got so many big names in this, and Steven Yeun he's just incredible as the main character. It's like if I had to like explain the character to someone who hasn't seen the show, the main character is basically like Spider-Man, but with Superman's powers.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Oh, by the way, just a real quick, because I forgot to say, also just a quick jump back to Peacemaker. Vigilante has such an insane Deadpool energy. I love it so much.
Yes,
Like he is brilliant.
I've seen people say that he could be a good Deadpool, and I totally agree with that. He's got that chaotic energy.
He's got it, yeah. But anyway, I think that is a very good comparison with Spider-Man. Actually, that's I was thinking like, how would at some point like who can I relate him to like with all these big superheroes? And actually, that's a terrific way to say it. He really is Spider-Man, but like with Superman's powers. I think also to the point of the way the stories form. I'm not sure if I enjoy it like this, or if I or I'm not sure if I would enjoy it as it is now, or would I enjoy it more if they did more of this build up that you talked about, because like if they had like a seasonal arc, because I really appreciate the depth of the world.
Yeah,
And I
the
guess
world
that's
building
like the
is great.
detriment, like, the downside of it is that because you have so many other things that keep popping up in these main threads of the story, it can feel that the main story is kind of shunned aside. It is for sure. I think it's just a very subjective thing. I think it is a thing. It's just a subjective thing of how you will actually process it. So I'm not sure. I think maybe that's one of the reasons why it sometimes takes me, not sometimes, it takes me a while to prepare also mentally to get into it, because I know that I'm getting into a lot of stuff. So like when I start episode 1 of the next season, I know that, okay, there's going to be something in episode 1, and then we're going to have like 5 different threads going on, and then and then I know that the payoff will be worth it. But it's very interesting. I wonder like how it will, like whether this will keep going, because I think at some point it will probably, like it will spread, it will like multiple threads, and then at some point it will start like closing in, and then I think also there's like, I think room for 10 seasons or something. Recently I read an interview or saw a video about this. So they can go for quite a while, but I think they'll also, it depends on Amazon if they will give them enough seasons. So at some point, there might be like a sharp drop in the number of plot lines we'll have to cover or we'll have to follow.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But for the time being, I think it's one of my favorite animated shows that's currently on the air.
Yeah. Chiv, you have a couple months to catch up.
Yep.
And then
the only other thing I could say about it too is about the cast. Jason Mantzoukas is in it. He's hilarious. Jillian Jacobs from Community. Like, shout out to her.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Yep. J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons does a crazy good job.
Walton Goggins. We talked about.
I just said his.
Oh, you did?
I said the Spider-Man character name. That's what I meant. Yeah, sorry. Because you saw it. Yeah, that's my bad. Sorry. The cast is crazy. It's really good. It's just an example of, I feel like, getting a really good group of people to do cool stuff and just letting them cook. Yeah, but Shiv, were you gonna mention somebody else or
at the end, Walton Goggins, and I think we covered a little bit of Fallout and his and he was in Community too. Look at that.
Yeah, yeah, he was.
Oh, who is he? Wait, who is he playing in? Who does he voice in?
He voices Cecil.
Oh, is he? Oh, Cecil. Also, like that guy is such a cool character. Whether you like him or not or whatever, but like, oh my god, that's so cool. I did not know this. That's really, really, really cool. He is this Nick Fury kind of figure, but completely of his own kind. Like, this is the role that he plays, but he's such a cool original character. Original character within this universe. I enjoy it so. It's a really cool universe.
No, it is a lot, and I enjoy the more they explore it.
Aliens, parallel dimensions, magic, multiverse, whatever. Like, man does everything. It's crazy. Time travel. It's good stuff. So anyway, when did you say it drops? It at the end, like March.
In March.
Yeah, man. Next year is gonna be packed.
Next year's gonna be jam packed for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll be having a lot of these episodes where it's like, hey, okay, let's talk about these 5 shows and the episodes that all dropped in the last 6 days.
It can be a lot to keep up on.
How terrible. I mean, totally. We'll just have to balance it out so maybe not everybody's in every episode. All of us need to like skip a while just to keep it like fresh or something.
We need to pick which shows we want to be invested in.
All right. Well, with all this stuff covered, I think we can now go back to like some proper good old fantasy. So firstly, I would say let's go to our bread and butter, The Lord of the Rings. So The Lord of the Rings star Elijah Wood praises Hunt for Gollum movie script and says the franchise's creative band is back together. So it's on IGN if you want to have a look at the article proper, but just real quick, we can go through the bits that we got from Mr. Wood. He says, I know a great deal about it. I've read the script. It's really good. There are some wonderful people involved. The thing that is so exciting is that it is really getting the creative band back together. The brain trust behind The Lord of the Rings, Fran, Peter, Philippa, they're heavily involved. And then the same production designers. It is going to be shot in New Zealand, so it is going to carry with it such continuity with so many people who are a part of The Lord of the Rings, and I'm really excited about that. It feels like getting that old machine up and running again with all of the right people. So maybe let's just have a comment on this first bit of news. Shiv, how does this sound?
I mean, it sounds pretty dang good. I had the awesome honor of getting to interview Philippa Boyens, Phoebe Gittins, and Artie, and this was back when War of the Rohirrim was coming out, so they were heavily involved in that project as well. But hearing like Philippa, Fran, Peter being heavily involved, new writers, if people don't know, Phoebe Gittins is actually Philippa's daughter, so you have the family tie there. Getting the blessing from Elijah Wood saying that he's like what he's seeing. Like, there's a lot of good a lot of good in this article. I saw the internet was finding negatives as well from it, but um, I guess I'm going to keep optimism first and foremost until we see otherwise, because we've had a lot of painful moments in fandom history, and it's just like,
Yeah.
let's see what happens. Let's give it a fair shake at least, and see what happens.
I know. I'm trying so hard to be like optimistic about it because, like, at its core, these are all of the actors, these are all the producers. I mean, if they say they're getting the whole creative team, this is literally the entire team that got me interested in filmmaking as a kid. Like, watching the appendices of the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies were what got me interested in filmmaking and digital media as a passion because I saw, how much passion they had for it and like the intent and all the collaboration. And so, like, a part of me is really excited to get to see that whole group come back together because, like, that's like my bucket list right there. Like, if I could have gone back in time and done anything, I would have wanted to have been somebody working on that movie in New Zealand with them. That, like, it's my dream job right there. So, like, a part of me is excited to see them all back together. But the problem is that it depends on who's at the top because you can have the most talented creatives in the world. You can have these guys doing miniatures. You can have a whole team slaving away making chainmail and literally rubbing off their fingernails because of how many links they put together. But if there's some corporate dude at the very top who goes, people want more Gollum because Gollum is cool and doesn't know anything about like the movie, then it's not going to be good. It doesn't matter if you have, like I said, it doesn't matter if you have one of my favorite production teams of all time working on it because ultimately it comes down to whoever's making the decisions at the top. And I cautiously optimistic, but it just doesn't feel like Warner Brothers has been making the greatest decisions lately. And I mean, when you look at like The Hobbit is a clear difference from Lord of the Rings, and I think the big difference between the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy is the change in leadership in between those two movies. I think that's the biggest shift because it's mostly the same people who made both those movies, but a lot of it changed. So um, they're going to need to do a lot to fully win me over and get my full shilling in for them. Because I'll shill for it if it's good. Like if Andy Serkis comes out and says, "Oh, we're leaning heavily on practical effects. We're doing no CGI orcs. It's all going to be costumes. The only CGI is going to be for Gollum, et cetera, and minor CGI for some of the larger creatures and stuff like that." Like, yeah, I'll be fully on board. But like some of the things that they've said, like they talked about the use of AI. They're bringing back people like Orlando Bloom, Elijah Wood, Viggo Mortensen. Again, I mean, this picture right here, all these three guys, these are some of my favorite guys. I love Legolas. I love Frodo. I love Aragorn. When I think of them, these are the faces I see. Like, I have such a hard time imagining anyone else doing it, and yet someone else needs to do it. I think Elijah Wood could do Frodo again just because that dude is ageless. He hasn't, he barely changes at all. But, like, in a movie like The Hunt for Gollum, where Aragorn or Strider at this point, like, has such a big role and is so involved in not this Strider, the other Strider. But he has such a big role and he is so important. I mean, Viggo Mortensen is what? He's in his like mid to late 70s at this point. Like
He's about as old as Ian McKellen was when he played Gandalf.
he's older than
an
Ian
insane
McKellen.
status to do here.
He's older than Ian McKellen was because I remember seeing that post. That was a couple of years ago where they said he's now as old as Ian McKellen was when he started playing Gandalf. This is a movie that I want Aragorn heavily involved in. I want the character because I'm sorry, I'm not the biggest Gollum fan. I like Gollum,
Yeah,
but I don't want, a whole movie about him when I feel like he was already, his characterization, his arc was already done beautifully. In the
yeah.
Lord.
I think this is where this is what gives me the pause. I mean, everything you said absolutely stands. However, and I know that it's actually at the end of the day, it will probably be the same for you as it will be for me and like 95% of the original trilogy fans. If these three dudes plus Ian McKellen, I mean, we know he will be there and all of them.
Ian McKellen could still be, I mean,
Yeah.
cross my heart, knock on wood, if he's still around. Like,
Yeah,
he could play Gandalf till he dies, because the older he gets,
Gandalf
the
is
more he
all
looks like
yes,
Gandalf.
it works. But like the thing is, what I want to say is, if we get all of them in the movie, if it's all confirmed, this is what's happening. I think all of us will, or like 95% of us will be fine with like squinting a little bit and ignoring the extra makeup or whatever thing that needs to happen. That is not. It is like a thing that kind of gives it like an extra layer of like, I'm not sure about it, but like but
Well, the
ultimately
Legolas scenes in The
it's
Hobbit I
fine.
really struggle with,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think he just looks
I
so
mean,
glossy.
the Hobbit had a whole different thing going with CGI. The big thing here is what gives me the pause is things that they have said, which is that they want to focus on Gollum, and this is the part that's the problem. Depending on everything they've said, it can still work with what I'm about to say, but it sounds like they're leaning the other way from what I'm hoping for. And what I'm hoping for is Gollum doesn't show up basically at all. He's there for like he's there in like maybe like the last third of the movie. Hunt for Gollum means hunting for Gollum. We don't need, as you said, like we saw Gollum. He doesn't work as the main character. He works as a side character in somebody else's story. This story should be 100% about Strider. He should be the one. This is his quest. Okay, Gandalf as well. Like it's a whole thing, but like it's about the hunt for Gollum. It's not about Gollum. And if the movie ends up being from perspective of Gollum, I think I will go there. I will be there on day one. I will be supporting it, even if I know what I'm
Well, I'll
getting
see it no
into.
matter what.
And if I know I'm getting into a movie where Gollum is the main character and we are watching it from his perspective, I'll still be there because I love all these people. This is my favorite movie. This is my favorite thing in the world of entertainment, easily. But it will also not be a good movie. I don't think this is going to work if it's all about Gollum. He needs to be the side. He needs to be like, quote unquote, the monster that shows up at like at like 1/3 before the movie ends. But yeah, that's kind of my angle. But Shiv, we haven't heard you about this very much. So let's hear your thoughts, because I feel like we kind of got like a bit of two different angles, but also we are pretty much on the same.
Yeah, I think I know it's kind of like different opinions here, but I kind of agree a bit with everything being said. I think a story would be more interesting if it was hunting for Gollum, not from Gollum's perspective. One thing that could be cool to see, depending on timelines, is where it could get messed up. Like if we could see like the interaction between like I guess you'd say Sauron or whatever you would want to call it in Mordor, and like the release, like would that work in the timeline of this story?
Well, yeah, because this all takes place after he leaves Mordor and before. So basically, this entire story happens within, I think, the span of about 5 minutes in the extended edition cut of Fellowship of the Ring, which is the moment that Gandalf leaves Bag End and the moment he returns and does is it secret? Is it safe? Everything in between that's when this story happens. So the moment Gandalf gets back,
Because they kind of cut off the 17 years that pass in the books, and then it kind of messes with the timeline. But yeah, continue.
I mean, they at least didn't write themselves into a corner, because there's that line where Gandalf says, "I searched everywhere for the creature Gollum, but our enemy found him first," which doesn't technically say that he didn't find Gollum. It just says that Sauron got to him first. They at least leave the door open to be like, Gandalf found him. But that whole line right there is basically supposed to be an allusion to the Hunt for Gollum chapter of him looking for Gollum and getting Aragorn's help to find him.
So we could get some interesting stuff in there.
We could. The problem is that the reason the Hunt for Gollum exists in the books is to give the reader context into how Gollum got the ring. Because they interrogate Gollum, and Gandalf says, "I found out that he killed his cousin Deagle. He found it in the river. He took him to the Misty Mountains." That is where you get all that exposition. That's the only reason it exists. That whole segment is just so that you will learn Gollum's backstory. That's the only reason it's written into the books, because it's just such a throwaway line. I think it's like literally like a page and a half in the book, where they just go, "Oh, we searched for Gollum. We found him. He was in Mirkwood. I asked him about his past. This is what I was able to get." It was really hard to interrogate him because it was like talking to two different people, and then he escaped. And that's it.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things where it's a standalone solo movie in a the cinematic universe of Middle Earth. The fact that it is such a small story doesn't have to mean that it's going to be bad, but it requires definitely a certain amount of delicacy, and like the approach has to be smart and like well thought out. I do think this could be a really cool movie. I don't know if you've seen the movie The Road with Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah,
I've read the book.
Very heavy post-apocalyptic dystopian movie where he's traveling with his son in like this really bad world. Yeah, like it's I've saw it once with my dad. It was he was the right person to see it with because it's about the son and the father. But like, damn, it's a hard movie. But like it could be something like this. Like we can, he would be definitely the Strider here. He's not Aragorn. We can see a lot of him. This would basically be a character study of Aragorn more than anything. So I feel like it can be a really cool movie. It can help set up it can help. What's the word? Like strengthen, like enhance some little side things of the original trilogy, where we could see more movements. Because he goes everywhere east of Misty Mountains. He goes basically everywhere from like Mirkwood all the way to Mordor. Like he walks into Mordor.
They could do some interesting stuff. I mean,
there's so many cool things. Like we can see like armies coming in. We can see orcs, orc fields. We can see some parts of Mordor we haven't seen before. We can see more of the swamps. He can wander around nearby Kirid Ungol, like this, because he was around there. There's so many cool things, and we can see all this build up towards the war that comes when the War of the Ring starts. So there's a lot of cool stuff we can see there, and like connections with Mirkwood and so on and so on. Like there's so much cool room, but it has to be done in a really interesting way, in like a really good way.
Yeah. Have you read the Chronicles of Prydain?
No, I'm afraid not.
One of my favorite books in that series is the fourth book, which is literally just called Terran Wanderer. And Terran is the name of the main character in the book. And the fourth book is literally just him going on just like a vision quest. Like he's just like, I need to find out who I am. I need to find out where I fit in. And the whole book is just him. He goes to one town. He learns how to like make a pot. He goes to another town and he learns how to like sew a cloak. And then he goes to a third town. He learns how to like forge a sword. And it's literally just it's just all he does is like wander around, and it would make the most boring movie, but it's also one of my favorite books in the series. Like it's very just like quest like. And I think you're onto something. Like I think they could achieve that with The Hunt for Gollum. It's just a question of will they? Because I think an adventure story, an old-fashioned, just do a full-on old-fashioned adventure story of Aragorn just searching around. He comes in danger. Maybe he meets a few wacky friends along the way, or maybe you can introduce what's his name? The ranger from the Dunedain. Halbarad. Yeah. You could have him in it, and you could do some interesting stuff, but I don't know that I trust Warner Brothers to do that. I really worry that, like, I've said this multiple times, and I'll keep saying it so that if I'm proven right, I can have a very detailed receipt history. But I'm almost positive that the line from the books where the elves get ambushed by orcs and Gollum escapes is going to get the barrel writing treatment that the Hobbit that got in Desolation of Smaug, where it's a very small scene in the books and it just gets blown in proportion. I mean, for those of you who don't know, the barrel scene in The Hobbit, no orcs. In the movie, it's a full-on orc attack. So a scene in the books where it just mentions orcs attacking, I would put money on it. I would bet so much money that there is going to be a massive battle in Mirkwood, and that is going to be the battle that Gollum escapes in. Like, I don't see a Warner Brother executive doing the green light on Lord of the Rings without a massive battle sequence written, without many of the same story beats from Lord of the Rings. And that's the problem, is because I want this movie to be so much different from Lord of the Rings. And that's a lot where I struggle with The Hobbit, is they tried to make The Hobbit too much like The Lord of the Rings. And all those parts where they tried is where I struggle with it. So I don't know, maybe they'll have learned their lesson, but it just feels like we're stuck in such a creative rut in the industry right now, where it's just everyone's just trying to remake and rehash the movies and emotions we felt when we were younger. And whereas I would want this movie to almost feel like the first half of The Princess Bride, where, they're going through all the gauntlets and they're traveling around, like Wesley does all the different, he fights the swords master and then he fights the giant and then he does the battle of wits. Like that's almost the vibe I would want from this movie, is to just be a cut and dry adventure like that. And I just don't see a reality where that happens, which bums me out.
Yeah.
It's also interesting. Early on, I think there was an interview with Andy Serkis where and I quote here, "It's a sizable movie." So
Yeah.
they're taking a small section and making it into a sizable movie. So I wonder what that means. Could we get an extended prologue?
Yeah, uh, you can. I think you can easily make a 2-hour movie from this and make it good. What Aidan just said as well. I always forget who says it. It's Gandalf or Aragorn, one of the two of them. I think it's at the Council of Elrond, during the Council of Elrond. But there, I'm paraphrasing quite widely here, but something about we heard whispers of that there would be this wraith-like creature that creeps into the holes of rabbits and kills them to get them to eat them for food. A shadow that creeps into the rooms of unsuspecting homes and steals the babies from the cradle and so on. Like, this is Gollum.
Yeah.
This is like, so you can have Gandalf and Aragorn, but like it's mainly Aragorn doing the actual wandering around. Well, kind of. They do go on like a trip for 1 year or something together, and then Gandalf has to go do something else, and then Aragorn continues the whole thing, and then he finally catches up with and catches Gollum. But you can have basically what this movie should be is
A horror movie.
Strider doing what he does best, wandering around Middle Earth, doing what a ranger does best, tracking, like basically a detective story, like a bounty hunter story, basically, where he's following around, looking for clues, talking to allies, pretending to be somebody else in places where he doesn't have allies, and just trying to like figure out like what the hell is happening. And then you can have some of the people kind of show up, like some, I don't know, he bumps into some elves from Lothlorien somewhere or wherever. You can have a couple of these things, and there's so much awesome potential for a really cool 1 hour and 45 minutes story here.
I would almost take like
And-
a Logan direction, where it's just very like serious and gritty. Like,
Oh yeah, he can bump into a couple of like he can be chased by like an orc company or something. He has to hide from them because obviously there's like 200 of them, something. Like, there's so much room. Like, show us the grittiness of being a ranger wandering around the Middle Earth, and like not any like he's wandering where it's like the worst at that time, between Dol Guldur and Mordor. That's where most of the main part of the movie would be set, and it's like those are bad lands, man, at the time. So there's just so much potential for an amazing, cool, epically down to earth story. It's just beautiful to imagine what this can be, and it's just like, I don't know if it will be. It's like,
I know. I like you said, cautiously optimistic. There's really not much we know about it, but I will say, Chiv and Strider over under 50%. How likely do you think they are that they're going to have Gollum eating babies?
Oh yeah.
You think that? You think
200%.
you think they're going to have the guts to go for that? Because I feel like they try really hard to make Gollum this like evil, but also character you pity. I feel like the second you show him eating a baby, it's game over.
Yeah, I would leave this literally as like a passing mention. Literally, as the quote is in the books, I would just give it to somebody else. Like, if it's, I think this is in reference to some of those Bjornings, the woodsmen of the Whale. So the Whale of Anduin, the people that live between Misty Mountains and Mirkwood. I think it's in reference to this area here that they are having these things happen. And you can keep it in a gray zone where it could just be like creatures from Dol Guldur or something, because obviously that's all of that is still messed up at this time. Like, it's building up to a war. So Mirkwood is really a terrible place to be at this time. So you can keep it like this, and then just like have someone mention, oh yeah, we are having these things happen in our villages. We keep hearing these terrible stories about na 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 na, and then you can show maybe some something about the rabbits, but obviously don't do anything with the babies because you do also want to keep this not a rated R movie because there's no need for it. So I think there's like a way to like put us in as like a very obscure Easter egg for people who know the books really well, who know this particular quote, and be like, okay, I see what you did there, but 9 out of 10 people will not clock this. So yeah, I don't know. I hope they do these little touches there. It would be fun. But also one fact that remains, and with this we can wrap up this topic. We will all be there day one, no matter what. So it's like we can talk about this, we can criticize it for now. We can like, oh, this is what we're afraid of, but we know that
Warner
we
Brothers,
will
if you're
be there.
listening, if you want to send us, I'll be the best shill you could ever pay for. I will.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100% save here, like all of us, Fellowship of Shills or whatever. We've been we've been called like this before. Anyway, with all of this out of the way, and I'll just put this photo here because why not? With all of this out of the way, let's go to a bit of maybe a less nice place. Certainly very famous, very popular in recent decade or so, but Westeros. Recently, just a couple days ago, we had the first trailer for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. This is another Game of Thrones spin-off set in the world of Westeros, obviously. It's about 100 years before the events of the Game of Thrones pick up. And it's based on a series of like novels or novellas by J.R.R. Martin, of course, about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And first season will be covering the first book. It's like a short novel. It's let's just call it a novel for the sake of simplicity. The first novel called, I think, Hedge Knight, and it premieres January 18th, I believe. So yeah, I think it's like 8 episodes. And what I do know is, or 6 or 8 episodes, and all of them are like half an hour. So it's a very shortened season of Westeros. However, the good thing is we also get House of the Dragon next year, so there's plenty of time in Westeros as a whole. But yeah, so far these are the basic details about it, and yeah, let's hear it. Chiv, do you have you perhaps read this, or maybe I think there's also like a comic book that covers the same thing. It's just in a comic book manner, or like what's your have you heard of this before? Have you seen the trailer? What do you think of the trailer?
Yeah, so the only George R.R. Martin book I own right now, I can't even remember the title. Jeez. It's the one that basically covers House of the Dragons. Is it like a blood?
Fire and Blood.
Fire and Blood.
Yeah, so I own that. I started reading it, but got distracted, so I have to get back to it. So in terms of the text, I'm coming into this fresh, but I have seen the trailer, and the trailer does have like exactly what I'm looking for in a George R. R. Martin adaptation. It's got like the humor in it. It's got a little bit of the grit. We got a glimpse of a dragon that looked really nice, as always. Like they do a great job in the show of depicting dragons. So pretty excited, and I think I saw an interview too, and you mentioned it. I think it was with a writer or a director where he was mentioning the 30-minute episodes and kind of said it was like really nice to be able to like work with the material and like with a limited amount of time. So the 30-minute episodes and 6 episodes. So this could be an example of getting quality over quantity too, where there shouldn't need to be any filler episodes. Really, we should just hopefully get the meat and potatoes.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like this model is here to stay. I think that 10 years from now, we're still going to be getting 6 to 8 episode seasons of about 40-minute episodes. It feels like the age of 21 episode, 22 episode seasons is gone. It's non-existent at this point, and it will only be reserved for like shows like Grey's Anatomy or like Cop Show, whichever one is popular that year. I don't know, but like those kind of shows, these main like story, like overarching shows, the quality's just gotten too high, and I just don't think that they can back down at this point. Like I think producers are too afraid to make shows that are ugly again. I mean, they always have to spring for the most expensive cameras, most expensive costumes, special effects, and I mean it looks good. I mean, from what we've seen, it looks really nice, but part of me does wish that there was still a difference in the mediums, because nowadays it just feels like everything's a movie. It's just whether it's a movie you watch in one sitting or a movie you have to watch every week. But um I'm excited for this. I think it looks really good. I like knights and castles and all that stuff, and it seems like the point of what I've heard about this is that the main character is like he's like the epitome of what a good knight is supposed to be. Like he's noble and just, and he like fights for like what's good, and I think that that is something I'm very interested to see in a world like Westeros, which is just full of only morally gray characters. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I don't know him that well. Maybe he is kind of a jerk.
No,
But
you are you are
Is
absolutely spot on. I think
is
that's
there
the yeah. Sure.
is there another word to describe a knight, perhaps, and their attributes?
I don't know where
Sorry.
you're going with this.
Yeah.
Chivalrous.
Oh,
Oh my god, yeah. He is
wait,
the
it's
he is
you.
the chivalrous knight. Oh my god, it's
Chiv the
it's
tall.
Shiv, the Shiv knight. Right. Oh my god. He is actually a proper chivalrous knight. He is a good guy. He does have that idealistic image of what a knight should be, and I think like Aidan, I look so much so much forward to it, to see this guy in, especially because I didn't read the whole series. I read, I think, the first couple of them, so I think I know, I think I know the plot of the first book, at least, like the first season I know. And I really look forward to this, actually, because exactly for this reason, like having a properly good guy getting enveloped into all the classic Westeros court
Yeah.
plots and stuff. Oh my god. I also like the fact that the actor, I don't know, like he this is gonna be his breakout role. I don't think he played anywhere huge so far. And so this series is actually called Dunk and Egg. Egg is the little fellow on the screen that we have here, and Dunk is short for Duncan, who is Duncan the Knight, the main character. So the two of them are actually this little duo that, without spoilers, they kind of get wrapped up together, and then, or not, like there's stuff going on there. I think it's a great story. I really look forward to it because, especially, it's going to be a really big refreshment to have a good night on a TV. Yeah. I'm going to say the same thing that I said in the build-up for Superman. I think the actual world is really stressful, really gray, really dark, really annoying in the last couple of years. If we can get some nice positive bits, a bit of positive energy and like some hope in some way from some kind of medium that we watch for entertainment, I'll take that, even if it's maybe less of a quality, which I have a feeling this will be a good show, but even if it's less of a quality, I want to have like some idealism on my screen. Superman did this. He did it pretty well, in my opinion. I want more of that. So getting a proper night,
I wonder,
especially the one of Westeros, like that's good stuff.
I wonder if there is going to be a big cultural shift now, because I kind of feel like nihilism was very much the way of film and TV for a while, and I'm wondering if people are just now starting to dial in on the fact that people are starting to get a little burnt out. Because even like Superman, I mean, think about how many evil Superman parodies there have been in like the last like 5 years alone. Like it's just for a while, it was like the answer was just like, well, what if we took this was supposed to be good, made it evil? And it's like it's starting to get old on me. I mean, I haven't watched like Gen V. I kind of stopped watching The Boys, and it was because of that. It was because it was just too dark, and like it's just, I wanted something just a little less cynical about the world, because I'm already a pretty cynical person in my private life, and it's like I don't really want to like continue to poison my mind with even more cynical content in the stuff that I watch for enjoyment. I mean, I watch the news and that makes me cynical, but when I sit down to watch a TV show, I want to walk away feeling like, yeah, I mean, see, right off the bat, you've already got two evil Superman tropes, but it's like, I want to walk away feeling happy with the content I choose to spend my time watching,
Yeah, I think that exactly this is my feeling as well, and I think it will be interesting to see if there's a shift for these things because I feel like there are hints that it might be happening. Like, for example, the new DCU, getting Duncan Egg on screen, for example.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a few things like this. So I do hope that there will be a shift because I think we do need more of this. I think we've had enough doom and gloom on TV relative to what's happening in the real world. We have plenty of that. So now we do need some balancing out, I think. So yeah.
I have a small comment to make there. So the actor who plays Dunk in this show, he was in a movie with Cillian Murphy called Small Things Like These. And if you haven't heard of that movie, it starts off pretty bleak, but it does have, I guess, some heart to it, I guess is a way to word it. I don't want to give off too many spoilers, but it has to do with kind of like, I think it was like local convents were kind of abusing yeah, I don't should get too much into it, but basically if it's a very dark movie with heart towards the end, and he plays a small role in that, and it's going to be interesting to see the difference between going from that movie and then playing a Chivalrous Knight. So looking forward to it, and definitely check out that movie.
All right. Yeah, I mean, why not get a good recommendation here? We always have something good to recommend. Okay, well then, I guess with this covered, yeah, we will be talking about this, I would assume. Shiv and I have covered House of the Dragon, season 2 already. So I think we'll be covering this as well. I think it's going to be fun to talk about it and less complicated to talk about it. I think, especially because it's like not a lot of things, not a lot of episodes, not very long episodes, a straightforward story. Like there isn't like 15 plot lines. I think that's also going to be a refreshment. It's just like adventures of like a dude or like a couple of dudes, or people depending who joins them. But also, actually, it's an interesting little before we move to the next one, because actually it is a good segue. We've been having a lot of big, strong man finds somebody small, and then they as a friend, and then they go around adventuring, looking at you, Mandalorian, Last of Us, The Witcher.
Yeah.
There's been plenty of that. I guess it's like it's a very popular dynamic apparently.
Apparently.
All right. But yeah, speaking of The Witcher, well, here we go. Recently, I don't know if it's been like 2 weeks at this point, we got the trailer for the next season of The Witcher. And what makes this very interesting is that, let me find the photo in case for the people who are who are watching this, in case you haven't heard somehow. This show has been pushed for and then starred in by Henry Cavill, who's a huge fan, who has shown his love of the series in every possible occasion for the last decade, basically. And he has read the books, he has played the games, he knows them by heart, and he was cast as Geralt. He campaigned for it. I remember when they were like announcing the show, I remember like seeing his tweets, him tagging Netflix, "Hey, just letting you know, I'm here." And it worked out. Or did it? Because what happened was, and I think that this is the big stuff we're going to talk about, because I think it's just a fun discussion to have, because it's absolutely insane that someone drops the ball like this. Basically, Henry Cavill, as I said, a huge fan of the series, has decided to withdraw from the show after season 3 because he did not like the way, the direction of the show, which led to the people behind the show recasting Geralt with Liam Hemsworth, who you can see on the screen, and the trailer got a lot of attention because of this. So a couple of things that I think are worth discussing here. Firstly is just the fact that we have the recast of the title role. This does not happen often unless it's for a very, very, very good reason. And you don't walk away from the role of a lot. Like if somebody for some absolutely insane and ridiculous reason casts me as Aragorn, I'm going to play that role to the end. I don't care what's happening. If I go fight aliens on Mars, I'm going to be playing Aragorn. But the fact that this happened with Henry Cavill, it's huge. So let's first go. Yeah, what do you think of the fact that we just got a recast for such a big show?
Yeah, so you mentioned that he walked away because he was unhappy with it. I'm curious, is that confirmed anywhere? Because I don't remember.
Yeah, No,
I
this
saw
this
that.
is
I
this
thought
is a
the
fact.
reason. Okay, maybe I saw something different, but I thought I remember the reasoning behind it was he dropped out of The Witcher because uh he was gonna do
Warhammer.
Man, because
No.
it was right around that time where they announced he was coming back as Superman, and he dropped out of The Witcher so that he could be in the next Superman project, and then the DC acquisition happened. But I don't remember if that was
No,
like
no,
the
it's
remember.
this
But
was supposed to happen anyway, but yeah, no, it's not. He left the show because he didn't like what they did with the show. It's
mm,
literally this is what happened, and I mean, it's wild to have. So my backstory with the series is, I started reading it in like 2013, and for whatever ridiculous reason, even though it absolutely makes sense that I would love the series, for some reason I struggled also due to some life stuff. So I think timing didn't work out. I started like rereading it a few times, and anyway, I never finished it. And I'm actually in the process of I'm finally on book 6 of the original 7. There's 2 more books that came out in the recent years, but like there's 7 main books. I'm finally like midway to book 6, but I haven't played the book. I haven't played the games. And I was very interested in the TV show, but then one of the things that happened was, firstly, it's a Slavic themed book, or like the world mainly. There's a lot of, it's a very colorful world. There's a lot of different cultures in there. There's like, you can easily see Nordic, um, Celtic culture and so on, but
mhm.
it's mainly Slavic themed culture of the world. And one of the things that happens is Netflix, I feel like, washed that out completely. And as a Slavic person myself, I found that very annoying because it just turned into a very generic fantasy thing, and then they changed so many things. So I can totally see why he would leave. But the fact that you have the books, who, as I said, I'm reading them now, and they're literally written in such a way that you just need to turn it into script. Like the point of view changes all the time. There's a lot of narrative devices like flashbacks, or like when there's like a scene. So basically, one of the narrative devices in like book 6, there's a character telling a story about Geralt, and then when you enter on that level, you see Geralt talking to you about a memory he's having. So it's like a two layers of narration happening and then
Jeez.
you go into like the actual story. It's like there's so many things like this where you just need to put it on screen. It's incredibly cinematic. The storytelling, the narrative devices are crazy good. It really keeps you on the toes. There's a lot of POV, there's a lot of storylines going on. It's really well done. And the fact that whoever these people are have taken such a story and a star, and that was like Henry Cavill at his peak, who cast in this role, and you kind of drop the ball, and you have also like running on the hype from one of the best gaming series of all time, which is it's a well-known fact. It's like saying Messi is one of the best footballers of all time. Like, this is just a fact. And having all of this going in your favor, and then you drop the ball so hard that
Yeah.
you are dropping trailer for your season 4 of the show with a new actor, and everybody is just going at it. I think it's kind of a tie between this Game of Thrones season 8 and Star Wars sequels. I'm not sure which one is a bigger blunder of a slam dunk. I'm not sure which one of these 3 I would pick, but it's like it's right up there with Game of Thrones and Star Wars, in my opinion. This is what I wanted to
Mm.
say. This was my big thing. Like, I want to hear your opinions on this because I think it's absolutely insane.
Go ahead, Shiv.
Well, I love the passion from Strider. I actually haven't seen much of The Witcher. I think I've seen the parts of the first season, and I had one of the video games re-released on the Switch, I believe. So I have very little experience with this IP, but I I guess to comment or speculate, like, if Henry Cavill really he was a big fan of the show and the IP, I should say, and then decided to, or had so many disagreements with the showrunners and stuff that he wanted to leave. Like, I guess that's a huge red flag. And it's like, you try to like put yourself in the shoes of like being in that position, like it's like a double-edged sword because say you have a lot of fans of the show that love your performance and all that. It's like, are you abandoning them? Like, but at the same time, like if you really love the source material and it feels like what they're doing is damaging it, or at least not doing a good job at adaptation, like would you not want to be a part of that project anymore? So that's a tough place to be in, but I guess if you have your principles, you're gonna stick to them. So if he felt like they were butchering something he loved, I guess at some point you don't want to be a part of that. So, oof. But yeah, I don't know what to do. This is kind of like similar to Wheels of Time, where we started the rewatch. If anyone is interested in that, and I haven't seen the show prior to the rewatch. Going into that, I realized that I'm watching something that most likely is going to be completed. And with this, we're getting a story that was told with the help of Henry Cavill and a lot of the what would you say, like he did a lot of spearheading, I guess, with the script, because I remember hearing a lot of discussions he would have. He's like, no, like he was like the lore master on set, and he's like, no, he would do this, he would do that. So the fans are going to be losing that like advocacy, I guess, for the character. So yeah, yeah, I guess I'm a bystander on it.
Yeah, I don't know enough to fully critique. I don't understand the entire situation here. I'm sure there's a lot of uh, aspects and facets that go into a decision like this. So
Sure.
anything, anything that I would say would just be speculation. Similar to Wheels of Time.
How dare you?
What? That's what you called it. I'm pretty sure that's how you. It's a show that I know a little bit about, but not a ton of the behind the scenes, and so it's like it's the same thing with like the cancellation of Wheel of Time, where it's like I don't know the full story behind what went down and the recasting of the show. Anything would just be rampant speculation on my part, which I'm happy to feed into. I'm happy to be a voice for negative change. I've already done a this is a little bit off topic, but uh, a rampant speculation I made has actually made headways in some online spaces. I saw people. This is a little bit of a Rings of Power tangent, but do you remember that like crackpot theory I made up about how Celeborn could maybe come back from Valinor on the ship with Glorfindel?
Yep.
So apparently, people think that's an official leak, and I saw some people talking about it as why it's evidence that it's not going to be Celeborn this season and that it's going to be Glorfindel. And I saw someone link a Fellowship of Fans article where they used my theory in one of the quotes. So I'm already a force for chaos on the internet.
That's terrible. I mean, I do remember we talked about this. I think maybe even before. When did you join? Like in March or something this year?
Around then, yeah.
I think we kind of theorized something similar as well before. And I was just like, please don't do this. I want Celeborn obviously needs to be there. I want to get Glorfindel as well, please. Can we just get both? Is it too much? But anyway, yeah. I remember when you said like this, to get quoted and like to be misquoted like this, it's wild. So let's not do that again. I guess it's not up to us. It's about a random person on the internet trying to be smart. Anyway, yeah. To go back to the point, I do think from the little bit of what I saw, I do think that Liam Hemsworth looks solid for the role. And actually, I remember one of the critiques about Henry Cavill being actually too buff. Geralt isn't a bodybuilder; he's more like a cat than like a rhino or something. He's like more lean than muscular, than like really muscular. So I think actually Liam Hemsworth looks probably a bit more accurate in that. Sorry, in that sense. Anyway, but it's big shoes to fill. I think it's going to be really fun to see how this insane thing ends finally. I think there was originally a mention that they will do one season 4 with Liam, and then finish the show. But actually, they apparently did. I don't know if maybe I'm just misremembering, but I think that's what was said. However, they will definitely do season 5 and then wrap up with this. So I think it's going to be interesting to see, and I wonder if it will be one of these most epic turnarounds where somehow Liam saves the show and it ends up not being a complete
Who knows?
crash and burn disaster. But I think it's going to be very interesting to follow.
Who knows?
Yeah, wild. But okay, I think with that said, we are coming up to the final bit of news that we wanted to talk about tonight, and that is Critical Role Campaign 4. So for the 10.5 people who might be listening to this, I am myself a huge D&D nerd. That's probably my favorite hobby in the world. I just love that thing so much. And Critical Role, if you are not familiar with it, is this huge D&D phenomenon that's been going on for about, I think at this point, like a full decade, maybe like 9 to 11 years, I think, somewhere around this range. It's a group of, if I can quote here, nerdy-ass voice actors who play Dungeons and Dragons, and this is a group of voice actors from Hollywood who've done a lot of amazing stuff, from games to a lot of animated stuff, and also obviously some acting roles, like in live action. And they have made this show. They have started streaming on Twitch, and they just turned into this whole thing. And now they're basically the biggest fighter that D&D has in the mainstream media world. They have become a force of nature, a juggernaut. They have created their own company, and now Critical Role is just huge. And the one of the few things that happened recently is, firstly, they have started campaign 4, and this is the cast. So here it grew. It's gonna be a mixed cast. They're gonna be split into small groups. It's pretty cool. I watched the first episode. It's just a setup for now, but then after a couple episodes, they're gonna split into different threads, and we'll be jumping from one group to another. Just trying to do a huge, like a short summary. The one big thing as well here is that the Dungeon Master isn't the legendary Matt Mercer, this guy here in the green shirt, but rather this guy here, Brennan Lee Mulligan, who is also, he's like one of the two huge legendary DMs that we have currently running, Matthew Mercer and Brennan Lee Mulligan, and Brennan has taken over. This is the first campaign that Matt Mercer is playing as a player. It's just the whole thing. This is like basically the crossover. If you're not sure how important this is like if you had Marvel and DC do a crossover, and it's like all the main cast from like the Avengers playing with Affleck and Henry Cavill and so on. It's just wild. And they have just started. The second episode premiered a day or two ago. Yeah, so there's a couple things going on with Critical Role, but maybe let's just hear Aidan and Chiv's thoughts on this. Aidan, let's start with you.
Yeah, so I think I first got introduced to them with the actually funnily enough, I first learned about Critical Role through Billy and Dom's podcast, Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan, The Friendship Onion, where they interviewed Sam Riegel, who is a member of Critical Role. And I was listening to their podcast at the time, and they had an episode where they brought him on, and he mentioned that they talked a little bit about his D&D background because they like to interview their guests and learn about kind of like their hobbies. And this guy mentioned that it was also kind of done in part as promotional material for the upcoming show they had. And he talked about the backstory with that. He explained how they had a Kickstarter campaign for the show that they pitched to their audience, how it broke the Guinness World Record for largest Kickstarter campaign of all time, and they earned like $20 million in a day or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
and
something real quick. They broke the record. It was like their stretch goal was like 1 million or something for like the whole duration, like I don't know, 90 days or whatever. They got like 4 billion in like 12 hours or something. It broke all the records of Kickstarter ever. It's just like the fastest funded Kickstarter of all time.
So I heard about that and I was instantly like, okay, what is this if it's so big? And then Dominic Monaghan, who plays Merry in Lord of the Rings, mentioned that he had a voice acting role in the first season. And I was like, all right, well, now I got to watch it if he's in it. And so that was kind of my introduction to them as I started watching. I saw the first season of the show. I enjoyed it. Some of the humor, I'm not a big potty humor kind of guy, so there were there's some elements I didn't like as much, but I thought it was a really well fleshed out story. Yeah, that image on there, that's the character Don Monahan
Yeah,
plays.
he's
He's a
the
dwarf
the
guy.
the dwarf.
But I thought it was really well done. It was really well acted, and I just kept watching it and followed up on their uh, kind of their story. It wasn't until about a year ago, so I've been watching it for a couple of years because this was back in like 2021 or 22 that I first watched it. It wasn't until like last year that I finally started listening to a campaign because I was getting more into D&D and I wanted to, one day I kind of have this pipe dream of having like a long form D&D campaign that I homebrew and make myself. I it's kind of like a in the future kind of dream, but I want to get better at understanding the game and how to DM. And so I was like, I'll just listen to their podcast and try to like really pay attention to the way that they handle events, how like the rules work. And so I've been listening to their second campaign, which they have a show coming out for in just a month called The Mighty Nine. And so I'm about 94 episodes into that campaign. It takes a long time to listen to because each episode's like 4 hours long and it's a podcast. So I just listen to it to and from my way to work. So I get about half an episode done every day because it's about an hour commute there and an hour commute back. So yeah, I'm actually really excited for this upcoming series they have, The Mighty Nine, because it's the first one that I listen to. Like the other series they have, the Legend of Vox Machina, is really fun and cool, but I don't really know a whole lot about it. This one I am interested just because of how much more I do know and understand, and I really enjoy adaptations and seeing the changes in medium and kind of how they will alter things for the plot. I will say I was a little bummed because they spoiled something in the trailer that I guess is an upcoming surprise for where I'm at, where apparently there's a character that I know where they're at the campaign, and I guess he's a twist villain or something. But I'm 93 episodes in, and I thought I was safe from spoilers, so I like watched the trailer and like they had it, and I was like, oh, all right, well, that's cool, I guess. But it makes sense. I mean, when you're adapting a D&D campaign for a TV show, you have to mess with things. You have to rearrange it because I mean, it's a live play game. I mean, if you want the plot to be coherent, some things you do need to alter because I mean, they go on tangents. I mean, they'll find like a magical artifact and then they will literally hold on to it for like real world time over half a year before it like comes up again. It's like, oh, that's actually one of the most important parts to the story. And
Yeah,
obviously you
that's how
can't do that
D&D
in a
is.
TV show.
D&D do be like that. It's like, oh, we are in the worst pickle of all time. Oh my god, this random thing I completely forgot I had in my backpack. Ta-da! And it solves the whole thing. This is D&D.
Yeah.
It's classic. I'm with you. I think I look forward to it a lot. The Mighty Nine. I actually started watching this campaign when it was premiering. However, because my background with D&D is I've been playing it, I was extremely fortunate to have it in my my small hometown, to have a club where I play D&D like 4 times a week. Played when I was still living there, and I was fortunate that I was already for a few years into D&D. So when I started watching this, it didn't feel as like it didn't pull me in as much. So I kind of stopped at some point. I think it would have helped if I had like a way to listen to it as a podcast by then, because I probably would have, but I wasn't able to. So it kind of didn't get me into watching it. But I'm really excited to actually watch the show, and I'm really excited about the new campaign because this one I'm definitely going to follow because now I have the means to follow it as a podcast thing.
I know.
But
I'm
before
kind of
we
torn because I want to like watch the new campaign as it comes out, but I'm also in the middle of listening to the old one because like I feel like it would be fun to listen to a campaign live with the rest of the world and like get to be in the speculation and like. But
I mean, you
I don't
can. It's only 2 episodes at this point. It
know,
would
so
probably be
busy.
like I don't know. It's I get like
We'll see. We'll see.
it's a lot of content to cover. But before we go even further down this rabbit hole, Shiv, where are you at with all of this?
Well, with D&D in general, I don't have too much experience, but Speaking of potty humor, the one D&D like content creators that gets put on my feed a lot is super cringe roleplay. If you've ever seen their videos, it's like a guy dressed as a wizard that's the dungeon master, and then there's like someone dressed up as Batman, Bane, and the Joker and stuff. But their campaigns are just insane. And the stuff they do is just hilarious. But the only connection to Critical Role here is Brennan Lee Mulligan gets suggested to me a lot. I watch a lot of clips from the show Game Changer, and like you can just tell his skill level from that show alone because it's a show about improvisation and coming up with crazy characters on the spot. And he'll go into insane depth for like a one line prompt. And it's like, if he can do that for a joke, he's probably an amazing dungeon master. So I think he's going to be a great head for this campaign, and I'm probably going to want to watch just solely because of him.
Yeah,
Well,
he is the level of improvisation he is capable of is absolutely wild. And one thing I promise you that you can always count on with Brandon as well, he will and he will always end up making capitalism the main problem, whatever the story is. And if for nothing else, this is why he is absolute genius and why his stuff should be watched because it's just go watch his Trump or Elon Musk impersonations or prompts from these comedy shows he's done. Like, it's beautiful and glorious to watch. So yeah, if for nothing else, you can always count on this being the topic of the story. And speaking of the things we want to see on our screen, give us hope. That's exactly what I want to see. Let's get people against all that jam.
oh
Aidan,
man.
what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say if you start watching Chiv, you'll have to start taking notes because you're both still slated to be on the official Fellowship of Fans D&D game that's coming up.
Hell yeah.
Will definitely
Actually,
be
yeah.
an agent of chaos.
Yeah, we got the Pippin Halfling here. I can already see it.
Oh yeah, I'll need
It's not Pippin. It's like Dippin or something like that.
You're
That's
you're
gonna
back.
be.
Yeah, we'll get in contact over the next little bit, but I'll start reaching out and getting some more work done on character creation and building up the dungeon. But I hope to do it at least before the end of November, and we can get that
Yeah, would be
stream
good.
going.
Yeah, I'm completely back, and in like I'm very stationary for the next couple of months, so totally
Perfect.
here and up for it. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So yeah, I was gonna make like a larger announcement of this, but yeah, basically what's gonna be happening is that Aidan here, who has done already a couple of really cool streams as a part of Fellowship of Fans, he will be DMing for us a little Middle Earth one shot for a group of Fellowship of Fans folks, and we'll be posting that in some shape or form online. I guess we'll probably pre-record and then cut the odd stuff out because there's always spam and
We'll
stuff
see.
during
We'll see.
D&D. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but we'll be doing something with this, and we are eternally grateful to Aidan for taking on the role of the Dungeon Master for this. I think it's
Yeah,
going to be a really cool experiment.
We'll see what you think once it happens.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. I have been the Dungeon Master or the Game Master. For some people, it's easy like this. Myself, quite a few times at this point. Whatever it is, you have sat down and put some work into preparing the session for us, and I'm very grateful for this in advance, and I'll be more grateful afterwards, especially because it gives us the chance to play D&D in Middle Earth. Dude.
And you won't ever play because I'm gonna have your character fall into a trap right off the first 5 minutes of the session.
He will have fallen into a trap in Middle Earth, and I can check this off my to-do bucket list, and that's it. Everybody wins.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, anyway, just to maybe like real quick wrap up one more time, or like just give you like some details for people who have stuck around until this point. So if you're watching this and not just listening, the first animated TV show that Critical Role did is called The Legend of Vox Machina on Prime Video. It's pretty good. We're getting the 4th season soon. I forgot when, but it's fairly soon. So that's the animated version of the first adventure they have, of the first campaign they did, the one that made them famous worldwide in terms of the internet community.
Yeah.
And then on the 19th of November, you can see the first episode, or the first 3 episodes of, this is the second campaign they have done. It's called the Mighty Nein. So it's a completely different cast of characters, but it's all happening in the homebrew world that they have created. It's a fantasy world of their own. But just to illustrate how huge they have become, how influential they have become, this world that they have created, it's called Exandria. I mean, Matt Mercer, who is the dungeon master, who was the dungeon master in the first 3 campaigns, he is mainly the creative force behind it, but all of them did it together. They have become such a huge thing that this has become the official part of the D&D multiverse. Like, it has been recognized from the Wizards of the Coast, the people who own the Dungeons and Dragons. It has been incorporated into the actual multiverse. There's a huge thing that happened, actually, I think in the Mighty Nein campaign, that basically became part of the lore. Like, there are things that happen in this story that become part of the lore of the actual Dungeons and Dragons world. That's how recognized they are from the community and from the people who own the Dungeons and Dragons. It's really cool. I highly recommend watching it. It's fun. I think it's going to be quite a cool series to watch. It's very expansive. The first one was kind of like a warm-up. This is the real stuff, and I'm definitely tuning in right away. And I think we'll have a couple people watching, so maybe we'll be covering, I don't know, week to week, or every couple of weeks we'll be going back to this. But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll be talking about it more in the future. And yeah, you can follow campaign 4 on YouTube. It drops on Monday. If you have an account on Beacon service website thing, I don't know, it's not a streaming service, but it's something like this. If you have a Beacon account, you can then watch it there as it premieres on Thursdays, or you just wait until Monday and then you can watch it for free on YouTube. Yeah, it started off really well. It's basically like watching improv drama by professional actors on like a drama stage, like on a stage in a theater, except it's online, or like you're watching through a screen. It's really amazing stuff, and it's improv. This stuff is improvised, and they're reacting in the moment. It just gives it this whole extra level of feelings and like impact. So anyway, with that said, maybe some final comments. And if you have final comments on this, and then also you can tell me, of all the things we talked about tonight, which is a lot, what is the thing that you're looking forward to the most? Let's start with Aidan, and then we'll go to Chiv.
Oh boy. Of everything we talked about, and we talked about a lot. Honestly, I might be looking forward to the most the Mighty Nein show, the Critical Role TV show, in full honesty, just because it is something I've been listening to for over a while, and I don't know, it's like, it's the same thing as like when you read a book and then it finally gets adapted into a movie. Like, you're always really interested and like curious to see how it's going to come full circle. And it's even more so with something like this, because like, I mean, they're adapting, I mean, it's over 143 episodes. I assume they'll probably adapt, if they go at the same kind of pace as the Legends of Vox Machina. And I know that people have also broken out the actual live play into like 6 arcs, basically, that they kind of unofficially go through. It'll probably be at least like 30 or so episodes they'll cover in the first season, but that's like, I mean, 30 times 4 hours of content that they have to scrub through, which is crazy. So it's like, I'm really curious to see like what they will keep, what they'll include. It's also been a long time since I listened to the beginning, so I'm also curious to see how much of it I'll remember and how much of it I'll catch as like Easter eggs, because I know the show is just especially Vox Machina is chock full of Easter eggs, and I don't get any of them because I'm not that well steeped into the world. And so now going into it with a little more knowledge, I'm excited to see if I can feel a little bit more included this time, or if it's still just going to go over my head.
But
Sure, let's go to you.
Ooh, this question's tough. I guess I'm gonna go in order of release date, because I feel like the thing I should be most excited for is the Gollum movie, but it's like what 2027. It's so far away, like, and there's not much known about it that it's kind of low on the excitement list right now for me. But the second there's some kind of official photos or teaser or something, I'm sure my excitement level is going to go to a million, unless there's concerning things in it. So I'd say right now, the biggest thing I'm excited for is the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's coming out relatively
Yeah,
soon,
that's a big one.
and it seems like it could be an interesting story, and it looks like it's well done, similar quality to everything else we've seen from Game of Thrones. I'm excited for that, and then I guess as a controversial take, I don't know what word to use. Interested to see how Harry Potter navigates the current climate. I'll word it like that.
Oh
They
man.
they have a major uphill battle on multiple fronts, so I'd be curious to see what happens with all that. But most excited, Night of the Seven Kingdoms right now.
All right. I think it's kind of hard for me to actually give a proper answer because there's quite a few things I'm excited for. I really look forward to watching the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Mighty Nein starting like 1 month from now. That's amazing. It kind of snuck up on me. I didn't realize it was actually that close. I really thought it was like next year at some point or something. It's crazy. It's actually right around the corner. But I think it might actually be the campaign 4 of Critical Role because I'm excited to actually try to watch this to go through with the whole campaign because as I said, I actually haven't finished any of them. It just didn't work for me due to I want to play D&D because I played it so much. I want to keep playing it. I don't want to watch people do it, or at least I don't want to have to sit and watch it because of the time I didn't have a way to do it as listen to it as a podcast.
Probably just listen
you
to
know.
it on my commute. I
Yeah.
can't sit down and watch it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
crazy.
Now that I have means to do this. Cause, I mean, this was like 7, 8, 9 years ago at this point when campaign 2 started, like 2017 or something, I think. So I'm really excited to watch this, especially because we have this new DM, Brandon Lee Mulligan, and we have Matthew Mercer playing. It's just really exciting for people who love D&D. This is like, as I said, like getting Marvel and DC to come together and do something. It's like that's the ultimate crossover, basically. Plus, as support. Also, by the way, the DM made a whole new world for this story, so it's a completely new world that he created with a lot of cool lore. And I don't know if you know, even if you have maybe seen this, but basically there are two guys, Mike Merles and Jeremy Crawford. They are the two guys who are the two main
We're in
men
charge of
in
D&D,
charge
right?
behind D&D.
They
The
work
5th
with them now.
edition that came out in 2014, and they set up this new one that just came out a couple of in the last year. They have left Wizards of the Coast. They don't work for the D&D company anymore. The two of them actually work with Critical Role as their
saw that.
background support for this campaign. They will be
It's
creating
crazy.
homebrew stuff. Not homebrew stuff, sorry. They'll be creating like custom stuff to fit within this new world because this isn't the
Are
world
they
of D&D.
are they still
So they're
playing,
creating.
are
Sorry.
they still playing 5th edition in this campaign, or are they doing a Daggerford?
They're doing the new D&D edition that came out last year. So this is like D&D 5th
Oh,
edition, but like the updated 2024 edition.
gotcha. Okay.
So it's like really new stuff, and they have literally two main creative guys helping them create custom stuff for this. So it's like you get Marvel and DC, and it's like being made by Steven Spielberg and Peter Jackson at the same time, or something like this. Like it's an insane crossover. So I'm just very excited about this. I've been looking forward to this for months since it was announced, and I want to see how it's going to turn up. And as well, as I said, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Mighty Nein, all the good stuff. Most of all, I look forward to chatting with you, and who knows who else will get to chat with us about all this nerdy stuff, because there's so many cool things going on, and
Oh, I know.
it's just fun to have a chance to discuss about all the nerdy stuff that we like, especially at doom and gloom times that we are currently living in. So it's good to have some fun. So yeah, with that, I want to say thank you, Aidan. Thanks for joining in. That was a great talk. Good to have you. Good to hear from you on so many things that we talked. So thank you for being with us tonight.
A lot, yeah.
And Chiv as well, man. It's been a while since we did one of these. It's been like maybe like 1 month or something. Terrible. Like it's been a very long time.
It feels like
yeah.
a lifetime.
It feels like a lifetime. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, we've done a lot of things, and we'll be doing a lot of things. So thanks also to you as well for joining in as usual.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for curating this awesome selection of nerdy things to discuss.
That was an absolute pleasure, man. I haven't had this fun for a podcast like in a while. Anyway, so huge thanks to everybody. I don't know. We can make bets. Like I'm gonna say like 15 people might finish.
That's generous. That's generous.
I'm hopeful. I'm an optimist.
We're
But-
almost 2 hours. It's gonna be
the good thing is we'll have like the time skips. You know, like the timestamps.
put a
So
do like that thing that sometimes people do. Like say like if you made it to the end, comment something so that we know that you actually listened.
yeah,
to us.
please do. If you're listening to this, just please let us know. And it's gonna be funny because no one's gonna do this. So there's gonna be like 1 or 2 people, like our BFF nerdy guns who followed all of our little time stuff, or light blinded full these 2 MVPs. Anyway, shout out to everybody. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for if you have gotten this far for like an hour and 45-ish minutes of our odd stuff. Thanks to all the lovely pets we have tonight as well. We have Pippin and who's this, Hayden?
Sorry, this is Oscar.
Oscar. Oh my God. So we got Pippin and Oscar. So thanks to these 2 lovely people, or felines as well. And yeah, with this, until the next time, we'll talk to you soon about some other stuff. So have a good one and see you in a bit.
Okay. Bye.